everyone! Welcome back my YouTube channel with my super handsome husband.
I think you got the eye problem.
So, Daddy Paul?
What's on your mind, baby May? What do you want to know? I know you got a question here.
Yes.
What is it?
You make disappointed here in the Philippines?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you, Daddy Paul.
Yeah, because we got disappointed recently. Yeah. So there are things that, we paint this picture of the Philippines as being this nirvana. And you know what? For the most part, I was sitting around with some friends today. All of us went out to lunch today.
Yeah.
There was what? Us and 3 other couples.
Yes.
And we all got together and we were doing kind of like some stuff together. And everybody's involved in one way, shape, or form in some sort of property thing. So we were all kind of, circling the wagons today and discussing our strategies. And then we all went to lunch at the same place.
Yeah.
And the guys were talking and you guys were dancing and doing a thing on Janet's live stream.
Yes, Janet's channel.
And on Janet's channel. And Janet and Mike are really super good friends and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so we were just sort of hanging out and we were talking, and all the boys were comparing notes, and it's the biggest problem, I think, or the biggest disappointment out here is how it's so hard to trust anybody. And the reason why is that it's hard to trust anybody is because someone and I'm talking about in business. I'm not talking about trust in love or romance or, loaning money to a guy or something like that. That's all petty stuff. I'm talking about going into business with somebody or just doing business on an upper echelon level. And how these guys, it just seems that I've been involved now with 4 different entities, and they've wanted to be on my channel, and they unfortunately have been on my channel. And they represented themselves to be one thing. And when I first met them, it seemed like that's what they were. And I bought into it. I tried to vet them as best as humanly possible, and everything was checking out. And so I would promote them to some degree. And the best thing that ever happened is, even though I've done this 4 times, not one person got hurt. Not one person got financially hurt. No one got burned, except me. And so for that, I am extremely grateful. And I made a conscious decision today, and I was talking with Mike.
Yeah.
There was a guy that wanted me to sponsor him and promote his business on my channel, and he wanted to give me monetary compensation for it. And I never, ever feel comfortable doing that, and I don't want to get started now. Because the minute I accept $1, $100, $1 million, it doesn't matter the amount. I am now beholden to that person. And once again, I go out. The minute somebody gives me $1 for doing something, especially on the YouTube channel,
yeah,
I'm no longer retired. Now I'm working for somebody. Why? Because they're paying me. And I have to do something for them for that money. That's what work is. You're trading your time for money. And I swore to myself when I came over here, I was done trading my time for money. And so when I've gotten involved with all of these guys, and you're my witness, they've offered me money. And I've always told them no.
Yeah.
And I've said, no, won't take your money. I'll videotape your thing. I'll tell them about your business, or I'll show them your thing that you're trying to promote. And I'll do that. And then they can decide. And I'm not advising people to take advantage of it or buy it or use it or whatever, but maybe look into it. Maybe talk to you about it. Here's their contact information. And that's as far as I would ever take it. And oh, boy, am I glad that I made those decisions. That I just said, listen, I'm not endorsing these guys. I'm not using them, and you can. Or maybe I was using them and got disappointed by them. In fact, there is one company I used, and I ended up paying more than I should have. So there you have it. So what disappoints me is that it's foreigner on top of foreigner, and they can do it out here and get away with murder practically. There is no tort laws. There is no pain and suffering out here. And if I was to get into it with another foreigner legally, let's just say we went into a business venture or whatever together, and I wanted to sue him, well, the lawyer is more than happy to take my money. And once it's gone, it's gone. And if the lawyer doesn't really do anything, I got no recourse against the lawyer. And then if it does, and the court, if it ever made it to court, would never even pay attention to it because it's foreigner on foreigner.
Yeah.
We're visitors here. We're tourists. You know, we may have an SRV or maybe we're a marriage or whatever,
Yeah.
but we're still not full-blown residents, you know, or citizens of the country. So why should we clog up their court system? And most of the time, it just fades away and somebody loses money and the other guy gets away with it. And there's just no repercussions. I know of one guy that has built and sold. I've never gotten involved, but I just know of this one dude that has built and sold 1, 2, 3, 4 restaurants, all on the beach. He goes in, gets the restaurant, puts in sweat equity, builds it up, puts in a kitchen, puts in a bar, puts in a staff, works his you know what off, sweat equity, lives up the property, does all this. I mean, he works hard, gets it dialed in, and he knows how to get a clientele in there. And he gets people into the restaurant, and now he's got this thriving business. And you know what? There's a full blown in every minute or something like that. There's a guy that will come along who's got more money than sense, thinks he wants to own a restaurant, and this guy is just waiting for him to show up, sells him the restaurant, makes an absolute killing on it, and then once it's over and done with, the guy that bought the place found out that the guy that built the place and rehabbed it didn't have any licenses, didn't own the place. It was just like an abandoned property, and he would just go in and fix it up and doll it up, or he would lease it for a short period of time, and none of the paperwork was correct. It was all jimmied. He was in cahoots with some guy that would, you know, write up some legal beagle stuff, and these guys were out big money, and he's done it 4 times, and no repercussions. He's since left the island because I think there was going to be a little, anyway, I think the guys were going to get personally involved with taking care of him. And then her and I have experienced it.
Yeah.
Where we're trying to do something right now. We don't want to get too involved with the details of it. But, I mean, once you hand over money, it's as good as gone. And the paper that you sign where the guy says, I'll perform and do this for you, is only as good as you being able to enforce it. Because you can wave it under his nose and say, hey, I got this contract, and you were supposed to perform. You were supposed to do. You were supposed to complete this for me. You were supposed to make this happen, and you didn't do it. And the guy's just like, so sue me. So what? I don't care. I know of guys that are trying to build houses right now.
Yeah.
And they get to a certain point with the house, and the contractor demands more money, and the guy says, well, I don't have any more money. And we agreed on this price. We agreed that it would be X amount of dollars. And the contractor's like, well, no, prices have gone up. I can't do this. I can't do that. You're going to have to give me another 500,000 pesos or another $10,000 or pick a number. And the poor guy, that I know personally, more than one actually, said, I don't have any more money. And we agreed. And the contractor's just like, well, that's it. I'm out of here. Bye. Down the hill. What recourse does the guy have? Nothing. Really. I mean, just nothing. And it might taint the guy's reputation a little bit, but that can only go so far. So that's my disappointment out here, or I'm venting.
Yeah, that is the learn.
That's what we learned.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what her and I have learned,
Yeah.
is no more on our channels especially are we going to promote any kind of business or
Yeah.
any kind of entity. There are sponsorship deals that come along all the time that we get. I don't know about my wife because I don't check her emails. I don't check her phone. I don't snoop into her business. I don't really care. But I know that I get, because of my little YouTube channel, 3 or 4 offers a week from people that want to do business. They want me to sponsor them. Dating services, drinks, gadgets, gizmos, this, that, the other. Half of them are spam, so I don't trust them.
Yeah.
They're not even real businesses, so I don't even click the link. The other ones are legit, but they're not something that I would use, so I can't get excited about it, and therefore I can't promote it. Now, we tried the dating service thing one time.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then we did that for a couple of months, and I said, I don't feel right about this.
Yeah,
You know, I think it's because we're married. We're not
Yeah.
dating.
Yeah.
We couldn't meet anybody or find anybody that had met through that service so that we could give an honest review that
Yeah.
it worked for them. We did find a couple, and I'm not knocking the service. I think the service is fine. It's just that we couldn't do the right job for them. So I told them, even though we signed on for 6 months, you and
Yeah.
I just did it for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then I called them up and I said, hey, I appreciate the offer and I appreciate you paying us money, but we're not going to do it anymore. Sorry, see you later, bye. Recently, I've been offered a sponsorship from a thing called Time Kettle. Time Kettle interests me, and I might start doing that on my channel. It's doing a commercial. I get to have a sponsor. And it's about translators. And so her and I would actually be able to communicate better. Because just doing this video, I was trying to explain to you how to ask a question,
Yeah.
and you kept getting the words mumbled up. But it's because it's our inability to understand one another with the accents, the way that I talk, the speed that I talk, the way that she says words, the way that I said words. And I'm thinking I want to get these translators, and I want to see if they work for you
Yeah,
and me.
yeah.
Because they don't work in Visayan, but they work in Tagalog.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
you speak Tagalog.
Yes.
You speak Tagalog,
Yeah.
you speak Visayan,
Yeah.
and you speak some English.
Yes.
So me, I just speak English. So you
Just
got
try.
3, I got 1.
Yeah.
I'm the one that
Just
needs
try.
it. So I thought, hey, we'll try it.
Yes.
We'll get the product,
Yeah.
and whether they pay us or not, we'll just put the product on, and we'll show it to you guys,
Yeah.
possibly, if we make a deal with these guys, and go from there. But I would say that a word of warning to people coming out here, if you're going to get involved in any kind of business with anybody, put your antenna way up. You know, I was in the car business. I worked with some guys that were pretty, I don't want to say, well, they were very creative. Let me put it to you that way. And I did it for 30 years.
Wow, 30 years.
Yeah. And these dudes out here that I'm talking to, I just gave a guy $350. I won't say the name of his company. I did it about a week ago with Goldfinger. Remember we were over
Yeah.
at Goldfinger's house?
Yes.
Goldfinger signed up with this guy. I signed up with this guy. And what this guy was purporting to do, and he had this big sales presentation, and we did a Skype call with this Filipino kid that was somewhere. And what the guy was going to do for Goldfinger, my friend Goldfinger, was bulk emails, because Goldfinger has so much success with his ebook
Yeah.
and his vehicle rental, or his girlfriend's vehicle rental business, that he can't keep up with all this mundane stuff. And then there's all this nicky-nacky stuff that takes hours of time. It's minutia things to do on YouTube channels that I said, I need this burden lifted off of me. I don't want to spend 3 hours a day on the computer monitoring this on my YouTube. I would rather spend that time creating or relaxing or doing something different. Can you lift that burden from me? And the man said, absolutely, positively. We can do that for you. I said, cool. How much is it? He said, it's $350. I'll give you a free month, and we'll start next month, and we'll do a Skype call on Friday. I said, okay. I said, so when do I pay you? He said, right now. And I said, okay, fair enough. I gave him a credit card. He charged me up for $359, I think the price was, for a 12-month deal. And we were supposed to do a Skype call. And if you remember, we had a brownout on this side of the road. And I went down the street to her sister's house at 7 o'clock in the morning because on that side of the street, they didn't have a brownout. And I was supposed to do a Skype call with this dude. I packed up my computer in the rain, went down the street, set up at my brother-in-law's house, her sister's house, was there at 7 a.m., bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to do my Skype call. Boobkiss. Nothing happened. Guy didn't show up. I wrote him, and I said, hey, where are you? I'm here. Where are you? Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot. Or I must have pushed a wrong button. And by the way, I fired the last guy, and I'm starting in with a brand new guy, and we're still trying to work the kinks out in this business. And I said, how many customers do you have? And he's like, well, you're it. So I'm this guy's first customer. Goldfinger's his second. And he hasn't done anything for either one of us. You know why? He doesn't even have a business. He has a business card. He's got a great sales pitch. He had this great Skype call guy. Well, the guy on the Skype call, he's disappeared. The business card's not doing me any good. And the guy keeps saying, I said, can I have my money back? And the guy's like, no. We'll be sure to make you happy. I know I can do this for you. Blah, 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 blah. Just give us time. In other words, this guy sold me a service that doesn't even friggin' exist yet. And I fell for it. I freely admit I was a sucker. And so was Goldfinger. But we're not crying over spilt milk. Again, lesson learned. $350 is a lot of money to us. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. And it's just, I like to shoot those things out to folks like you so that forewarned is forearmed. So from this point forward, unless I can vet something really thoroughly well, if it's a product or anything that I'm going to show on my channel or you're going to show on your channel, it'll be something that we actually use and gain from and trust and can look at you and say, we have this and we really like it. And if you want to buy it, you can go to this website and buy it. And if you don't, you don't. And that'll be the long and the short of that. But the whole thing here is that just the amount of shady actors out here that are in business is scary to me. And I would, if I was you, I know you're probably not going to be doing a YouTube channel. You're just going to come out here and live your life. But when it comes to any kind of approach of being a partner in something, be a business owner, go and halvesies on a restaurant, anything like that, I would really tell you to take a hardcore second look. There's an old saying that they've had for 1,000,000 years out here and in Thailand and in Vietnam and everywhere else. And it is, if you want to go home after working with $1 million, bring $2 million. Because you're going to lose $1 million just to take the other $1 million back home with you. And that is the truth. How many restaurants have we seen open and close? Dozens. I mean, small down, shies down. We fall in love with the food. We fall in love with the place. And the guy just doesn't, he's a great chef, but he doesn't understand business. And his staff doesn't show up. And there's just, you know, it's just hardcore. So if you're coming out here to work or start a business, I would think hard. I would think twice. The visas are difficult to get, and I don't do it, so I'm not the expert. I know there's guys that are very successful, and they pull it off because that's what they do. They know what they're doing. But if you're the guy that's just dreamed that he's always wanted to have a hot dog stand, and he's going to come out here and open one up, dream again. Okay, it's not the same as it is back home. So that's my speech. What do you think?
Thank you, Daddy Paul, for sharing for your experience here in the Philippines. And guys, see you next video. Bye-bye.
Only trust those who, what? Say a prayer at night?